Hi, Chef Matt here. Today, I want to talk to you about a great recipe we have for this month, cast iron seared prime ribeye with wild mushrooms and our wine of the month, Liberté. We're going to start here with a beautiful prime. It's about a 16-ounce ribeye with the bone removed. We have just a little bit of grapeseed oil, a chopped shallot, some kosher salt, some fresh thyme, our wild mushrooms. So we have some creminis, shiitakes, and these are porcinis, and these have been reconstituted. These were dried. And I actually used, instead of using water, I used chicken stock and then reserved that for the pan sauce later on the grill. We've got 3/4 cup of the Liberté wine and some whole butter. This is unsalted. So the first thing we're going to do is generously season the steak. And this, well, the way we teach at the restaurant, we kind of hold the steak and you want to make sure it's coming down like snow. This is a pretty thick steak, so be liberal with that. We're also going to hit the sides a little bit. We'll put that down, a little fresh cracked black pepper. Turn the steak over and then the same thing. A good hit of kosher salt. And then some more cracked black pepper. Again, this is a good sized steak, so we want to make sure it's very well seasoned. So I've preheated the grill. I have the cast iron skillet on the grill. Let's hit it. So I'm outside at the grill. I've got a very hot grill. I've had the cast iron skillet on here for probably a good 20 minutes. And we're gonna start with a little bit of the grapeseed oil. I use grapeseed oil, you can use vegetable oil. Grapeseed oil has a very high smoke point. So we're gonna add a couple of tablespoons there and then add that steak. You can hear it immediately just start to sizzle. And as you see, I like to add a little bit of wood in the back, which really helps to kind of swirl around in there and give it some flavor. But the purpose behind the cast iron skillet is that it really gives it that beautiful crust and char that's a little bit different from grill marks. So I'm gonna close it. It's gonna be maybe about 2 minutes and then we'll check on it. So after about 2 minutes, I just wanna show you what it looks like. See, we're getting a really nice crust there. Let's let it go about another minute and then we'll flip it. So it's been about another minute. I'm gonna give it a flip. See that beautiful crust there? And then again, we'll let that go for about another 3 minutes. So it's been 3 minutes. I'm gonna take the steak off, let it rest, and then finish the sauce. Oh, that looks beautiful. Let that oil just drain back in the pan. So now we're gonna let the steak rest. So we've got beautiful caramelization there. Basically, we're giving flavor to the steak. When you sear a steak, it doesn't seal in anything. It really just caramelizes the sugar in the meat and gives you great flavor and texture. When we let a steak rest, what we're doing is letting the temperature in the steak kind of even out, okay? So I'm gonna put this to the side. We're gonna finish our sauce. We're gonna leave the oil in there and we're gonna add our mushrooms. Mushrooms take a good amount of oil to cook. And this is basically just like a saute pan on the stove in the kitchen. So we're gonna sear those. You could do this in the kitchen. You don't get quite the flavor. Again, we've got a little bit of wood here. We also don't wanna smell up the kitchen. So it's nice to be able to do this outside. So we're gonna add a little bit of whole butter. We're gonna add our shallots and let those start to saute. This is like old school French cooking. This is like a pan sauce. You could do this on a camping trip also. Now there was some residual seasoning that was already in here from the steak. So we'll wait to the end when we put our wine in our chicken stock to taste it and check on the seasoning. So we're just gonna let this saute for about 1.5 minutes or so. Let the sweetness come out of those shallots. Once you see those shallots are kind of translucent, you can see through them. We're gonna add our Liberté wine and reduce that down to almost dry. This is gonna take a couple of minutes. You can even close the lid to keep the heat in. I think we should be good to go here. Yeah, so what you're looking for here is basically just so that wine is dry and reduced out. Got a beautiful color here. Now we're gonna add that chicken stock. And with the chicken stock, we wanna reduce this down about halfway. So again, it'll come up to a simmer. We can close the lid, it'll take a minute or two. And then after it is about halfway, we'll add another tablespoon of butter just to finish it. Check the seasoning. We're gonna add some sprigs of fresh thyme here. You can strip it and use just fresh thyme, but I like to use the sprigs because I like what it looks like in the final plating. I just let that simmer and reduce by about half. So I think we're almost there. It's reducing nicely. It's almost about half. You can see it's getting a little bit thicker. The bubbles change as it gets thicker. So we're gonna finish it with a tablespoon of butter. This is called mounting with butter. And we basically will just wanna twirl the pan, let that butter just infuse into that sauce. And that does two things. It makes it a little richer, but it also softens the acidity of the wine and kind of balances everything out. So this is where I'm gonna wanna check the seasoning. Checking just for salt and pepper. Oh wow, the mushroom flavor of those porcini mushrooms, when you soak them in this chicken stock like we did, amazing flavor comes out of that. So needs just a little bit more salt and just a grind of pepper or two. And we are ready to go. Wow, look at this. See how beautiful, rich that is? There's no cream in here, again, just the butter. So we're gonna dress our steak now. Wow, this sauce is beautiful. Again, this is enough for 2 steaks, this sauce. You wanna make sure you get some mushrooms on there, get enough sauce, some of those thyme sprigs, which are really pretty. What an amazing steak sauce. Again, so simple and so easy on the grill, and no smell in the house, which is a huge plus. So I'll finish with just a little bit of some parsley sprigs. And there we go, our cast iron seared ribeye with wild mushrooms and Liberté. Cheers.